Clark fans have listened. Last night, I received the ratings for the first round of games for the chase for the Golden Toilet. As expected, darkness is coming. The spotlight.
The ratings tank. They're going to come back and say, see, we were right all along. It's all the racists that follow Caitlin Clark that were watching the product, and now they're gone, and we're back with our diehards. And that's the ratings that you're seeing. Actual W fans, not WNBA, actual W fans.
Let me get it right.
That's going to be
You barely had home fans. And so no one cared. A couple 300,000 people were watching your games before Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA has found itself in a state of turmoil, and much of the conversation revolves around Caitlin Clark's impact on the league and its future. Clark, who single-handedly revitalized interest in the WNBA, brought unprecedented attention, viewership, and attendance to the league. However, with her team, the Indiana Fever, now eliminated from the playoffs, a storm of controversy and fan backlash has ensued, raising questions about whether the WNBA can sustain its newfound success without its brightest star. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the WNBA was often regarded as a struggling league with a niche fan base. Attendance was sparse, and viewership struggled to gain significant traction. Just 2 years ago, home attendance averaged around 1,800 fans per game. Fast forward to this season, and those numbers have skyrocketed to 177,000 fans, nearly 10 times the previous average. The dramatic increase in interest is largely attributed to one player, Caitlin Clark. Clark brought a new energy to the WNBA, drawing in fans who previously had little interest in women's basketball. Her electrifying playstyle, competitive spirit, and record-shattering performances captivated audiences across the country. She wasn't just participating, she was transforming the sport. Clark's ability to connect with fans, both on and off the court, made her a box office sensation. People didn't just come to see the Indiana Fever play, they came to watch Caitlin Clark dominate. Clark's presence had a tangible effect on the league. The Fever, previously one of the league's worst teams, led the WNBA in both home and road attendance. Merchandise sales surged by 450%, according to Fanatics, and even road attendance for the entire league rose by nearly 50%. The Fever's games became must-watch events, with over 1.8 million viewers tuning in to see their playoff matchup against the Connecticut Sun, despite competing directly with NFL games. This was the highest viewership for any WNBA playoff game since the 2000 finals, and it showcased Clark's undeniable star power. However, with Clark's elimination from the playoffs, the WNBA now faces a significant challenge. Fans are frustrated, and many have vowed to stop watching the league without her presence. The excitement that once surrounded the league seems to be fading rapidly. For many fans, Clark was the sole reason they tuned in, and now that she's gone, they're walking away. The drop in viewership was almost immediate. Games without Clark drew a fraction of the audience that her games did. The Fever's playoff game had more viewers than the next 3 playoff matches combined. The rest of the league struggled to garner even 400,000 viewers across multiple games. This stark contrast highlights just how much of the league's success was tied to Clark's popularity. Fans who came for Clark's fast-paced, high-energy performances are now disinterested in watching other teams. This situation has led to a growing sentiment that the WNBA cannot survive without Caitlin Clark. For years, the league had been struggling to gain mainstream attention, and now that it finally found a star capable of pulling in new fans, it appears to have squandered the opportunity. Fans are beginning to question whether the WNBA can maintain its current momentum without Clark. The WNBA's failure to capitalize fully on Clark's impact could have long-lasting consequences. While some league officials and players seem content with the idea that the WNBA will revert to its die-hard fan base, the numbers suggest otherwise. Clark's fan base was not just a passing trend, it represented a seismic shift in how people viewed the WNBA. By ignoring or downplaying her importance, the league risks alienating a large portion of its audience. Clark's ability to draw new fans into the league cannot be overstated. Before her arrival, the WNBA had a loyal but relatively small following. Clark changed that dynamic, bringing in millions of new viewers and transforming casual sports fans into dedicated WNBA supporters. Now, many of those same fans are turning away from the league, stating that they will not watch until Clark and the Indiana Fever return. For them, the WNBA without Caitlin Clark is simply not as exciting. The WNBA is already seeing the effects of her absence. Attendance at games has dropped, and the once vibrant atmosphere surrounding the league has dulled. Games that should have been marquee matchups are now struggling to fill arenas. For instance, teams like the Las Vegas Aces and Atlanta Dream have seen significantly lower turnout, with large portions of their arenas sitting empty during playoff games. The excitement that Clark brought to the league seems to have evaporated almost overnight. Caitlin Clark's impact wasn't just about viewership or attendance. She set numerous records in her rookie season, further cementing her status as one of the greatest talents to ever play in the WNBA. Her play style was a revelation for fans who had previously dismissed women's basketball as slow or unexciting. Clark's lightning-fast drives to the basket, pinpoint three-point shooting, and fiery demeanor on the court brought a level of intensity rarely seen in the WNBA. She played with an edge, talking trash, getting into confrontations with opponents, and showing the kind of passion that fans love to see in their favorite athletes. It's no wonder that she quickly became the face of the league. Beyond the individual accolades, Clark's impact was felt in other areas of the WNBA. Thanks to her drawing power, the league was able to secure $50 million in funding to allow teams to fly on chartered planes, a significant improvement over the previous system, where players had to fly commercial. Clark used her platform to advocate for better treatment of WNBA players, and her influence directly led to these changes. Despite all the positive attention Caitlin Clark brought to the WNBA, not everyone in the league was happy with her rise to stardom. Some players, feeling overshadowed, expressed resentment toward Clark. They argued that they had been grinding in the league for years, only to see a rookie come in and steal the spotlight. This led to tension both on and off the court, as Clark became a target for criticism and physical altercations. One notable incident occurred when Dejounte Carrington of the Connecticut Sun allegedly hit Clark in the eye during a playoff game. While many believed the foul was intentional, the league did not take action against Carrington. Instead, she was later awarded the Most Improved Player award, which only fueled the perception that the WNBA was not adequately supporting its star player. This hostility toward Clark has only alienated her fans further. They see her as a trailblazer who has brought much-needed attention and revenue to the league, yet she is met with jealousy and disrespect from some of her peers. Many fans have voiced their frustration on social media, calling out the league and certain players for not appreciating what Clark has done for women's basketball. The WNBA had a unique opportunity with Caitlin Clark. She was more than just a talented player. She was a cultural phenomenon capable of elevating the league to new heights. Clark's ability to draw in new fans, generate revenue, and bring attention to the WNBA was unparalleled. Yet, instead of fully embracing her as the face of the league, the WNBA seemed hesitant, and now they may be paying the price. Some argue that the WNBA should have done everything in its power to keep Clark in the playoffs, whether through better officiating or more support from the league. Her absence has left a gaping hole in the WNBA's marketing and promotional efforts, and it's unclear whether any other player can step up to fill that void. While stars like Aja Wilson and Breanna Stewart are undoubtedly talented, they do not have the same magnetic appeal that Clark brought to the league. As the WNBA continues its playoff run without Clark, the question on everyone's mind is whether the league can survive without her. The early signs are not encouraging. Viewership is down, attendance is dropping, and fan engagement has plummeted. It's possible that the WNBA could return to its pre-Clark state, where only a small dedicated fan base remains and mainstream attention fades away. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Caitlin Clark's presence in the league brought unprecedented attention and success, but now that she's out of the playoffs, the future looks uncertain. Fans are disengaged, ratings are plummeting, and the excitement that once surrounded the league has diminished. Without Clark, the WNBA risks returning to its former status as a niche product with limited appeal. The league's failure to fully embrace Clark's impact and address the internal resentment toward her could have long-lasting consequences. The Caitlin Clark effect was real, and now that it's gone, the WNBA may find itself struggling to regain its footing in the sports world. If the WNBA wants to capitalize on the momentum that Clark brought to the league, it needs to make significant changes, both in how it markets its players and how it supports its stars. Otherwise, the league may find that its golden opportunity has already slipped away.